Hi, I'm Kim, and today I want to talk to you about this guy, Fuji's XF50 to 140 f2.8 or LM OIS WR. Got that out. That's quite a long name for quite a long lens, isn't it? I'll go through those letters in just a minute, just in case you don't know what that's about. This was launched in September 2014 as part of a pair of red badged zoom lenses, along with a 16 to 55 millimeter f2.8. Both lenses are weather sealed. Both lenses are very fast to focus. This lens has 5 stops of image stabilization and costs €1,600, so not a cheap Fuji lens with OIS on it. Well, hang on. Hey Siri.
Hi Kim.
What's Fuji's cheapest stabilized zoom lens?
Fujifilm's cheapest stabilized zoom lens is the X-T15 to 45 f3.5 to 5.6 OIS-PZ.
Yeah, I'm going to get that in and have a play. That sounds nice. Wide angle zoom with OIS, that doesn't cost much. Anywho, you've got a metal barrel and a brass mount in there, so pretty solidly built. It's got a lot of weather sealing points in there, which means you can use it in all kinds of dusty and rainy environment. I live in Ireland, so I tend to use it a lot more in the rain than the dust over here, but it's good to know. I've used the thing for a couple of years now and it hasn't let me down. It's still far and away, which is nice to see. The aperture is constant at f2.8 throughout the zoom range. It clicks in 1/3 stops and it's very firm in its click, so you can really know where you are with that. It kind of suits the lens very well considering its intended application. Scroll all the way up to 22 and you're going to suffer from diffraction. Even at f16 you're going to get a bit, but if you keep it between 2.8 and f11 you're going to get a nice sharp image up there. One other setting on there is A, and A for automatic, and that is allowing the camera to decide what aperture to set at. So if you want to shoot in any of the automatic modes. You can also associate the camera with command dial. So if you set A in your aperture, you can operate one of the command dials. And you can choose either one. So if you want to shoot in that old DSLR style, now you can. The zoom ring is a very short throw. From 50 to 140 is less than 90 degrees. So a little bit of dampening there, but quite light really. Not so much as you're really going to knock it, I think, too much, but you can definitely turn it very easily. As you can see here, it's just moving quickly in my hands. Probably move it one finger. It's not so bad. That's quite nice. It's big, it's rubbery, it's easy to grip, it's easy to use. And in front of that, right at the end, we have our focus ring, which is very smooth, nicely dampened. I mean, you can really get some accurate focus with this if you want to manually focus, or if you're punching in and just checking your focus, for example. That's very, very nice to have. And I think Fuji really thought a lot about the feel of how this lens is, which I think is consistent with a lot of their higher end products they bring out. There's a hood on the front, which is a very big hood. Let me just take it off for a second here and put the camera down. As you can see, just a plastic bayonet style hood. It does have a little hole on the bottom of it, which I can never take off unless it's on the thing. There we go. Little hole in the bottom of it there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you can. So I can see it, hello, in there. And that is so you can rotate something like a CPL, a filter in there. And then you can just pop that in so you don't lose it like a lot of the other stuff I tend to do. And that pops back on. So without it, not such a big lens, it's okay. With it, it does make it a little bit more commanding in the hand. On the end of it, you have a foot, which is removable with these 2 screws here. They just twist off. You can take it off and chuck it in your bag, never to be found again. Put a tripod plate on that, put it on a tripod, and as you can see, it balances quite well on that. Speaking of balancing quite well, shooting style. A lot of people say you really need to have a grip on the camera when you're shooting with a long lens like this. So I've put it on my X Pro 2 today, just so you can kind of see that, yeah, that's true. If you're just going to hold it with your right hand, having a grip would be brilliant because you're going to end up with a sore hand and a sore wrist from having all that weight out front. But if you hold it with your left hand and shoot with your right hand, it's not a problem. So for me, I can quite happily put it on the X Pro 2 anyway. I know some people prefer the grip, and if you do, that's fine. No problem at all. So, speed of AF, I found it very fast. It's got a triple linear motor in there, which is just 3 motors spread apart about 120 degrees, and they move a focus element forward and backwards. So it just means you've got a very short movement between those focus lenses. The balance stays accurate. The lens doesn't extend in and out when you're doing this or when you're zooming. So in use, it's a very, very comfortable lens. It's not a lens I've used a whole lot when I first got it. Sparingly when I needed it, I took it out of the bag as I much prefer my primes. But as I've been out of work for the last few months because of our recent pandemic here, I've been using it more and more at home for just different things so I can keep busy, trying to shoot every day. I've used it for portraits, I've used it for still life, I've used it for landscape, I've used it for wildlife, and it's just been a phenomenal use. I've also taken a couple of macro shots around the place by adding on a couple of macro rings into there, which just moves the focus really close. You lose your focus out here, but when you get it in close, it's quite nice. So a very versatile lens, as it turned out to be. So Fuji have really done what they said to make a versatile professional zoom lens. Should you buy one? Yeah, that's a question I get asked. A friend of mine shoots with a 55 to 200 f3.5 to 4.8 OIS. Okay, that lens doesn't have weather sealing. It doesn't have a constant 2.8 aperture. It isn't built like a brick, but it also doesn't come with that extra weight. In fact, it's half the weight, and it's almost half the price too. And if you consider if you didn't need the constant 2.8 aperture and you didn't need that weather sealing, if you were to buy the 55 to 200, you could put on an XT30 and it would cost about €100 extra. So that's not a bad consideration. But if you do need that weather sealing, and you definitely want that 2.8 aperture and that slight improvement in optical quality that you're going to get off this guy, this is the lens to get. Over the two, I'm very happy I have this. If I was just out and about doing what I've been doing for the last couple of months, the 55 to 200 would have been perfect for it. There'd be no real difference in image quality really for what I can see. But if you really want the best, then this is the lens you have to get. Two of our swans that lived in the lake at the end of my house had cygnets a few weeks ago, so I've been down shooting them a little bit. I got some video footage of them a couple of days ago just to test the lens out for video. Now, although it's not parafocal, which means once you set the focus, no matter where you zoom it to, that focus stays accurate. The camera does a pretty good job of maintaining the focus point while in continuous mode, particularly on a camera like the X-T3 or X-T4. Really, really good job of doing that. So if you're not focusing really fast, you can certainly create that look of a more expensive cinema lens, like one of the MK lenses, which are phenomenal to have and use. So let's play that and see how we get on, and I'll see you in the next. Oh, sorry, someone at the door. Hang on. Thanks. Okay, that was fast, wasn't it? I got a box in the post. What's this? Okay, let's take out an obnoxiously sharp knife here and give it a look. I'm going to open this here, am I? Always cut away from yourself if you can. Oh, I shouldn't have run to the door. Now, let's just put this knife away. What have I got in here? Something from Fujifilm. Oh, look.